All right, welcome back. Faded Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. You can follow me on Twitter at jchurchradio. Email is jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. It's Thursday night. It is Fader night. Open lines all night long. We're going to open up the phones at the top of the hour. This week, actually, when I say this week, I mean in 7 days, a week from tomorrow, Contact in the Desert kicks off out in Palm Springs, California. And joining me right now, this is behind the secret door, our super surprise guest, a secret guest tonight, Giorgio Tsoukalos. Giorgio, how you doing, man?
How's it going, Fadernaughts? How's it going, Jimmy? How are you?
You know, always good to hear your voice. And we're getting ready to kick it off, man. We are in conference season, Giorgio. Next week is Contact in the Desert. You excited?
Yeah, I totally am. And as many of you know, this is my favorite conference out of the whole year. And, you know, Victoria Gavoyan put this thing on 8 years ago for the first time. And I can't believe it's been 8 years. And, you know, this event has just grown by leaps and bounds. And I can't wait to meet all of you attending this year, because the event, I'm told, has many, many surprises up its sleeves and things that have never been done before. So this is going to be fantastic.
You know, you're right. We have done this conference together with so many others, right? But we have watched this grow, right? When you look back and you think about where things were so many years ago to what it is today, it's absolutely amazing to see the wow, I want to say audience,
the evolution,
attendees,
the progression. Yes. Because
yes.
If you recall, you know, back in the day, and this was only 3 conferences or 3 years ago, the event was in the middle of Joshua Tree, actually in the desert, and it was a wonderful, magical experience. But, you know, frankly, it was usually on average 100 degrees each day. And so now they've moved the event to the Indian Wells Renaissance Resort in Indian Wells. And it's this amazing place. It's an indoor hotel. All the events are indoor. It's all air conditioned. You know, so it is an incredible improvement on the event. And I've got to tell you, ever since they've moved it to the Renaissance, the event has grown. And, you know, it's wonderful to just hang out. And if you want to be outside in the heat, you step outside. If you want to go inside and have the air condition, that's not a problem either. So
you bring up a good
point. The wonderful
point.
thing is it's all under one roof now.
If you miss the sun, we still got that for you.
Yeah, yes, exactly. So we're only a few miles away from Joshua Tree, so
that's right.
You know, no problem. Plus, there are excursions into Joshua Tree planned anyway. I think there's a tour of the Integratron, and then there's a tour of the Big Rock. So there are all sorts of events that are planned for the attendees, including, of course, the conference. So it'll be a great time.
Now, if I could, what are you going to be speaking about this year?
Well, I have this tradition at Contact where you know, everybody's supposed to give like these 2 lectures or these 2 presentations. And because the first 2 years, every time I tried to have one of my presentations, the power failed, we just had a Q&A. And so I'm looking forward to this thing that we've basically kept over all these years, where one of my presentations or one of my appearances will be a 2-hour Q&A. And so you can, you know, ask me any question you want. I'll tell you stories. And then in my presentation, I will give you my classic ancient astronaut presentation about why I think we've been visited in the past. And, you know, I'm not the only one there who's speaking. David Childress will be there, Eric von Daniken, George Noory, yourself, Jimmy, Graham Hancock, Linda Moulton Howe, Rich Dolan, Jacques Vallée, Dr. Michael Denon, Whitley Strieber, Hugh Newman, Nick Pope, Brian Forrester, Carolyn Corey, Travis Walton, Stephen Bassett, Clifford Mahudi, Brad Olson. Yeah, I mean, you can't name everybody is there. So if you want to meet your heroes, come on out to Contact in the Desert, and we'll have a ton of fun.
Yeah, one of the cool things that you do every year is you have a fantastic booth, and you hang out and you chat with everybody that comes up to you. And you've got lots of really cool, unique products. Usually, I go over and steal a couple when your back is turned. But but that is one of the great things that you do is you hang out. Isn't that just one of the best parts of Contact in the Desert? Just hanging out at the booth and chatting.
Yeah, look, I mean, meeting the fans and the fellow colleagues is truly amazing because Contact in the Desert began as this small, conference, and it has grown into something really, really wonderful. And one of the great things that I think is great about Contact is that we're all on the premises, so we all get to hang out. You can flag us down, ask us a question. So it's a very mellow event, and I myself have always been in the impression that the reason why any of us exist is because of you, because of your listeners, and I because of the viewership of Ancient Aliens. So the fans are the reason why we exist. So I think it's a wonderful thing to give back to the fans by hanging out with them and answer questions.
Yeah, it's the key phrase right there. It's a hangout. You're absolutely right. Hey, Giorgio, you're now on your 100th season of Ancient Aliens. Now, 100 seasons, and it's gotten nothing but bigger and better. You're in the middle of production right now. Where are some of the exciting locations you've been filming at this time around?
Well, it's really crazy, and what's amazing is that on May 31st, only a week from now, we'll actually have the premiere of our new season on Friday, and this season will do things that we've never done before, and I know that I've said that before, but this time it's true, because 7 days from now, in the first episode, you'll see exactly what I mean. I can't tell you exactly what it is because it's something brand new, but I've been to England and Canada, and I have met one astrophysicist, astrobiologist, Dr. Richard Hoover, who has proven, he has found concise physical evidence for extraterrestrial life here on Earth. Yes, it is microbial, but these are things that should be on the front pages of the newspapers. This is something we should talk about, and usually it's on page 9, somewhere in the back or in the back page, so we'll reveal some truly riveting stuff this season, and it'll be a good one.
When you guys have the success of Ancient Aliens and, a leader behind you like Kevin Burns, who is an absolute stand-up believer of this community and represents us, does that ultimately just give you the freedom knowing that the sky's the limit, we can do what we need to do, you're not limited by a boss that's, I don't know, right? How does that make you feel?
It is pretty amazing because Kevin, has become over the years a good and very close friend of mine, and so I know him privately, and the mind behind this Ancient Aliens, we all have to be grateful that Kevin has seen the vision or has the vision behind this.
Right.
Because, I've seen each episode when it was written, then we shoot it, and then we have a rough cut. And every time that Kevin sees it, it doesn't matter who it or how it is, he'll always improve it. So we should also be so lucky to have Kevin behind all of us. And yes, he is a gigantic supporter behind all of this because he agrees with the notion that in the end, what do we actually know? besides 2 plus 2 equals 4. Yes, we know these things, but there are other things, especially in regards to our history, that have many question marks. And with Ancient Aliens, it's one of the first times in the history of television that we get to present our side without being ridiculed from the other side or looked at from a skeptical perspective.
Would it surprise you if Kevin, you guys are sitting down and planning out the next season? I'm not kidding about this statement, by the way. Would it surprise you if Kevin sits down and goes, okay, well, I've been talking to Bezos, I've been talking to Musk, and we're going to shoot a couple episodes from the moon this year, right? It's like that, isn't it?
Well, I mean, I would welcome that. That would be amazing. Well, look, if we're on the air 5 or 10 years from now, I think that could be a possibility, because the moon and Mars, that is the next frontier. And I know from one of my closest and best friends when I was a little boy, Andreas Zill, he is now working for SpaceX, and he himself has told me that it is quite possible that you and me and our fellow listeners within the next 30 years will be able to possibly retire on Mars. Now, that is an amazing adventure, and if that possibility should arise, let me tell you, I have already I've already started to put aside my pennies to save up for that journey.
That would be amazing.
Really.
I would be down for that. And this is the other part for me about you personally. About what year is this? 2019. So back in
I think so.
Yeah, it's 2019. Back in 2008, the first season of Ancient Aliens airs. I meet you. You speak at the MUFON meeting here in Los Angeles. You remember that night? It was raining. It was cold. It was fun. And think about how small of a group that was versus what you would have to go through today. But the point that I'm making is you had said in that presentation about the amount of stars out in the Milky Way, the amount of planets that are out there, and what it would be like to go, for us as explorers, to go and encounter another civilization and how we would handle that. I thought it was a really brilliant presentation, but you had the vision of the future. How cosmology and physics and astrophysics has changed in the last 10 years, where we now understand the billions and billions of planets in our own Milky Way that we didn't know about back then. But you spoke about that. And here you are today knowing about the amount of exoplanets and planets in the Milky Way. Pretty cool, isn't it?
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, but to me, that is, my fellow colleagues like Eric von Daniken, those are, and also you, these are, ordinary dinner table conversations, because, to me, I've always marveled at the idea that there are so many people out there who think that we are the crown of creation, that we are the greatest. So the idea that we will be the first, to me, was always kind of ludicrous, because we've had help in the past. So, and those aliens, too, had help from other aliens in the past. But in the future, if we arrive on another planet and we encounter a form of intelligence, a humanoid life form, we'll help them. We'll guide them in a sort of technological direction. We'll teach them how to make fire, or how to perform agriculture, and science, mathematics, astronomy, all these different scientific disciplines, just in order to spread knowledge. So we too will do this in the future. So developmental work as we do here on Earth, in my opinion, has happened throughout the entire universe. And one day we will be part of that entire mechanism of spreading knowledge throughout the universe.
And what do you do? What's your concept with that? Do you just arrive, with 3, 4, 5, you know what I mean? 3, 4, 5 lessons in some basic areas, and then split You know what I mean? And then maybe come back later and check in?
Well, that's a great question, isn't it? Because how would we do it? Because this is my argument that, so when I began with Ancient Aliens, I followed UFOs and I followed, modern day sightings and things like that, but I was not really into it. Today, ufology is one of my favorite topics, and I look deeply into it. So through Ancient Aliens, I too have learned that there are more mysteries out there. So, I think that if you go out there, and so what I'm suggesting is that perhaps in the past I thought that the Ancient Aliens were here and then they left. But, with everything that's been going on and what I've researched over the past 10 years and what I've learned from my colleagues, because you can always learn every single day, is that perhaps all these UFO stories that we have throughout history indicate that those ancient astronauts, not all of them, have left, that maybe someone stayed behind to watch us, to observe us, because guess why? Because in the Bible, in the ancient texts, sacred texts, they were always referred to as the watchers or the observers. So having observers or a watcher means that they may have never left. So I am now today more of the opinion that we've always been under observation. We've always been watched. And this is, by the way, nothing negative. This is not, the Wizard of Oz watching us, from, behind the curtain. This is something completely, in my opinion, it's a complete neutral observation to see what happens to us, an experiment that began at least 250,000 years ago. And so, because we would do the same thing if you and I were to initiate an experiment or a project, chances are that we would not abandon it. And I'm talking about a significant project. I'm not talking about, something ridiculous. So, therefore, I think that, the idea that we've always been watched, by the way, this is the so-called zoo hypothesis. This is something that university professors have come up with. Futurists and astrobiologists and astrophysicists have come up with the idea that this whole planet may be some type of a zoo where aliens visit on the weekends for their entertainment to look at us. And I question from, since quite a while now, maybe they don't even have to come here with spaceships or with UFOs, but maybe we are, on their TV or on their computer screens inside a video game. I mean, it's all crazy. But the idea or the fact is that we need to ask more questions because the answers are no longer satisfactory.
And that, for the watchers, for those observers, it's also a huge responsibility in that they can't make a mistake. And
yes.
Do you bear that same responsibility in the education and presentations you do with Ancient Aliens? You have to be cautious because you're exposing people to information that they may not know anything about. Is that a responsibility that you have to be a little bit careful of?
Well, and I'm trying to be responsible because, for example, as you know, at every lecture or every presentation or every time somebody meets me personally, I say that, the meme, the Giorgio meme, the aliens meme, is not equal to what I actually said. Because personally, I've never said nor suggested that, for example, the pyramids were built by aliens. Clearly, the ancient pyramids of Egypt were built by human beings. But what I have said is that the knowledge with which the pyramids were built, according to ancient Egyptians themselves, was given to the ancient Egyptians by the so-called guardians of the sky. Now, archaeologists or Egyptologists are suggesting that the guardians of the sky did not exist and they were just a figment of the ancient Egyptians' imagination. I am suggesting, or the ancient astronaut theory is suggesting that these guardians of the sky were flesh and blood extraterrestrials. They were merely teachers, because for any technological feat, you need a evolution in technology. And in ancient Egypt, while you have some evolution technology as far as the megalithic structures are concerned, there is not an evolution in technology. So the idea that the ancient Egyptians had teachers, which they themselves say that they've received this knowledge, is not insulting. But now people are saying that, suggesting that receiving the knowledge for building something is equal to saying that aliens built stuff. And if that is what some people believe, I cannot help them, because there's a huge difference in doing it yourself by learning something while you do it, while you have teachers, or by just watching while somebody else does it. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't mean to cut you off, and we just got a couple of minutes left. And give me the quickest answer that you can. Give me 5 seconds. Do the memes affect you, or do you laugh at them? Because you have to admit, it's one of the most popular things on the internet, and it's pretty cool, right?
I love them. Are you kidding me? I've said for so many years that if the meme gets people to talk, whether it is positive or negative, I don't care. I'm like P.T. Barnum. Any publicity is good publicity. So
there you
I'm
go.
all good for it. It's fine.
Yeah, there you go. All right, now coming up, speaking about the growth of this community and the awareness that's going on, right after Contact in the Desert, you've got Alien Con, June 21st through the 23rd at the LA Convention Center. And can I just say this really quick? Bill Shatner? Really?
Yeah, Captain Kirk will be there.
Kirk.
Absolutely.
Unbelievable. Now, when that's at the LA Convention Center, and again, when you see this many people get together because of why they are getting together, that's got to make you feel pretty good. A lot of people are getting awake.
Well, I said as a joke that this is like our own Star Trek, but it's not. We should not look at it as a joke, because this is pretty awesome and tremendous that we've struck a chord with so many people. And, Star Trek is a wonderful thing, because many people, due to Star Trek, became astronauts, became doctors, became scientists. So if ancient aliens one day prompt young kids to become anthropologists or archaeologists or Egyptologists, but they are thinking in the way that we are thinking of the past, then perhaps there will be one brain who will unlock it all.
Giorgio, thank you so much. Thank you so much,
Jimmy.
And I can't wait for next week. We're going to have such a great time.
Same here, and I want to give all my love to the Fadernauts. They're the best listeners in the world.
And you know what's great is our booths are next to each other at Contact in the Desert. So your crew gets to come visit me, my crew gets to come over and visit you, and we do a 4-day hangout. We get to look at each other for 4 days. Thank you so much, Giorgio. Behave and be well. Safe travels.
Thanks, Jimmy. You too. My love to Rita. Take care.
Right back
Bye-bye.
at you. Giorgio Tsoukalos next week. Contact in the Desert. Now, all of Giorgio's links we're going to have up there in Twitter, and you can go follow Giorgio too as well. We'll take care of all of that. And come and visit all of us next week at Contact in the Desert. All right, I'm going to get out of here and open up the phone lines. This is Fade to Black. It's Thursday night. It is Fader night. Open lines all night long. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Thank you, Giorgio. Great conversation. Yeah, we should have kept him on all night. Can't. If I told you what he was doing right now, he's literally on his way to the airport. I'll be right back. Stay with me. You're listening to a preview of Fade to Black. To get the full episode, go to jimmychurchradio.com and get our podcast. Click on the podcast banner or sign up in the membership area for downloadable MP3s. Everything commercial free. All right, here we go. Open lines. Fader night. 747-228-2051. your conversation all night long. Paranormal, supernatural, time travel, conspiracy, UFOs, everything, pop culture, tacos. Yeah. We're going to do all of that tonight. And let's get to I do want to thank Giorgio and Alec Hoffman for coming in tonight. And I've got to get a big shout out to Ronnie McMullen, Life Change Tea, and his company and what they did to help me get my feet back on the ground this week. I wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for Ronnie McMullen at Life Change Tea. Go and visit, get the tea. You've got to get the tea and drink the tea. I'm telling you. Thank you so much, Ronnie. With that, let's go straight to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling? Turn me down in the background.
Hi, Jimmy.
This
is Bob.
You got to turn.
Bob, how are you tonight?
You got to turn me down in the background. Turn me down.
Yeah, I know. I'm turning it down right now.
Okay. All right. Avalanche.
Okay.
How you doing, man?
Yeah. Jimmy, if I asked you a question, right? I'm going to ask you a question.
Sure.
What would you think if I said to you, what do you think of the voices of the children yet unborn? What would you think that was?
The voices of the children.
Of the children that are yet unborn.
Oh, man, that's heavy. Avalanche, that's heavy, man. That's heavy. I have no idea where. I mean, that explodes the mind.
Okay, let me explode your mind. For Earth Day, right?
Mm-hmm.
I put a song acapella on my Facebook page.
Yep.
Called Voices of the Children Yet Unborn. 2 days, I had almost 5,000 views, and it was going up. These bitches took it off. I have it on YouTube, and I got 175 views now, but it's nothing like Facebook. And people love this song. It's about the children that are yet to come into this world.
And YouTube,
but these people with this abortionist thing going on must have thought it was about abortion.
Yeah.
Can you believe
this? Yep. I could see that. See, this is the thing, Avalanche. This is no joke. Censorship today is out of control. It is out of control. And I can promise you that Facebook, which I did see a news, I didn't talk. Okay. I saw a press release today about Facebook's censorship of abortion issues right now. And it's all done. Some of it is done by people complaining, right? They'll report the video. Most of it is done by AI. So, you know what I mean? They're doing some search algorithm. And, Facebook is so big. And they see the title of your song, through automation. And they automatically think something. And if they heard the song or understood what it was about, a human being behind it, it'd be a different story. But the censorship is so out of control right now with automation and AI that people are getting blocked and brought down and channels demonetized and channels vanish and accounts shut down because of censorship. And this is the thing, Bob. You're an artist. You're a musician. This country fought for the rights to music, to the arts, to writing, to books, to authors, to publishing, to journalism, all of those freedoms of the media and communication. We fought for that. And all of a sudden, we're fighting this war, this battle of censorship. I would have never thought in my wildest days, right, that it would come to this. But, yeah, we're right here. And I feel for you, my friend. It's not right.
I'll tell you, I'm a general in the rock and roll army, man, and I will never, never give up. And this puts burn me. You can find this song on YouTube. I put it on YouTube.
Well,
it's on YouTube.
Well, put it up there in Twitter so I can retweet.
I put it on Facebook. I don't know how to do that, Jim. How do I put it on Twitter?
I don't have time to do that now, but I don't know if you
said,
know
how
this.
would I? How would I?
Listen, just put the link up to your YouTube channel and post it in Twitter. That's all you got to do. Just put the link up, and I'll retweet it for you. Okay? All right. Hey, Bob, enjoy the rest of your night, my friend, and keep fighting that battle.
My man. Have a great night. Bye.
You too. You too. Avalanche Bob right there. Doesn't get any cooler than that. Let's stay on the phones. Let's just hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
This is Nathan in Ohio.
Hey, Nathan. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. Kind of. I called because I had a very strange experience this past weekend while I was at the Sonic Temple Music and Arts Festival.
What happened?
Well, I was at the Friday show. I was at all 3 nights, but the Friday show, it was during System of a Down set, and I was watching the sky. I kind of looked up into the sky because there'd been a lot of air travel over the show the whole day. And I was just seeing if there was, like, planes and advertising and all sorts of things. So I was just looking up into the sky kind of in the middle of the set during the show, and I saw my eye caught something in the sky, and I was pretty sure it was a drone, but it kept blinking red back and forth between the two sides of it, and I could tell that it was a dark object in the center, but it was moving very strangely. And then about 30 seconds later, I started to feel like my brain was like buzzing, and I kind of went numb and I almost tapped my friend on the shoulder. I was going to tell him that I was needed to get out of the crowd, and then I blacked out, and he was like slapping me in the face when I woke up.
Wow.
And I was out for like 30 seconds or something like that.
Are you okay? Do you think they were related, or maybe it was just, maybe it was the heavy bass jams?
Well, I've been to a lot of shows, and I've also been a contact experiencer. I call your show a lot and talk about that. But it's easy for me sometimes to associate the two. I was worried about it medically at first, but I was fine after that day. And as soon as I woke up, I was fine.
Wow.
But I do think that the two were related.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that you are fine. And maybe later, maybe you got a download, right? Maybe something, maybe something else is involved here. And if you find out, I know that you're going to let me know. But I'm glad that you're all right, man. And I hope that the rest of the festival was cool.
It was. It was a great experience.
Thank you.
All around. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Nathan. Behave and be well, my friend. Have a great weekend.
You too.
Thank you, Nathan. And that's could that be related? It's certainly a possibility, isn't it? It is a possibility. Could it be related? Very interesting. Okay, I am lining up stuff. I'm sorry, everybody's just been calling, and I haven't been picking up calls, so I'm doing it now. And wow. Okay, all right. Let's just keep this going. In 2 seconds, we'll be going right back to the phones, and I'm going to do it here. Let's go here hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, Jimmy, it's Paul from Virginia.
Hey, Paul from Virginia. How are you?
I'm good, man. Glad to talk to you.
What's on your mind tonight, Paul?
Well, I want to start out talking about Burbank.
Fairbank?
Burbank.
Oh, Burbank.
Yeah.
Like Burbank, California.
Yeah, that's my favorite town I've ever lived in.
Okay. All right. So what's on your mind about Burbank?
You remember that little used bookstore that was downtown there? It had a little awning above it.
In Burbank? Are you talking about there was the one in North Hollywood on what was that? Laurel Canyon and Magnolia.
Right, there was one there too.
And
I'm talking about the one that was in Burbank. It's closed.
Hold on.
Closed now.
On Cahuenga and Burbank, next to Circus Liquor. You talking about that one?
No, I'm talking about one in Burbank, the town of Burbank.
This is Burbank. I'm talking about Cahuenga and Burbank Boulevard.
No, it wasn't Cahuenga.
Okay, all right.
It was a little south and east of Burbank High School.
A little bit south and east of Burbank High School in downtown Burbank. South and east.
Streets down.
So that would be like at Orange Grove and 2nd Avenue.
Yeah, somewhere like that.
Okay.
Anyway, it's closed now. It's a bummer.
All right. So what about it?
I just used to love walking in there and smelling the book smell. And I used to get every book I could find from Frank Herbert. And then I was talking to the owner there one day, and he said Frank used to come in there and peruse the store.
When was the last time you were in that area?
It was 5.5 years ago, I think, just before you started your show.
Okay, because you know now that's all condos and apartments now. I mean, that whole area around Burbank High School, I mean, for, a couple of miles in each direction is all built. I mean, that's all brand new development. I mean, it's nice, but the old Burbank experience that we all know and love, that's all gone. You have to, I mean, to experience old Burbank like it used to be, you've got to go up Magnolia or Burbank Boulevard and get onto the other side of the 5, because that's where it's still the old Burbank. Burbank had a law, which is technically still on the books, but they had a law that you could not build anything in Burbank over 2 stories tall. Okay? That was the law. There were a couple of exceptions made in those the Holiday Inn, a couple of hotels there in Burbank. Other than that, everything was 2 stories tall. They didn't want the cityscape ruined. Well, downtown Burbank is not the case anymore. Everything is 10 stories and above. But
Burbank at the time when I was there was like the most well planned out town I saw in the whole valley.
Yeah, it was great. It was great because everything was 1 story, 2 stories tall, and it was old school, 50s, and it was just happening and kitsch. But Burbank isn't that way anymore. It is if you get to the other side of the 5 and head down. Hey, Paul, thank you for taking me down memory lane, man.
Well, yeah. Hey, but there was an experience I had in Burbank I'd like to talk about.
Okay. What happened?
Okay. The first time it happened, I was just sleeping, and all of a sudden I wake up and I look right in front of me, and there was like a tornado in front of me that was like made out of light. It was probably only like 10 inches tall, and it's right in front of my face. And I was freaked out. I jumped up. I jump up and moving away from it. And I'm like, what the hell is that? And I woke up my wife, and she's freaking out too, wondering what's wrong. And she didn't even see it. And it disappeared. And then in a month's time, it happened 2 more times. And then Craig Bailey that David Wilcox did a interview with about the plan, like in 2010 or so.
No, I don't remember that, but
well, he's a friend of mine. So whenever stuff like that happens, I'd call him, like about the deer-headed man that I saw. But anyway, the last time it happened, I wake up and there were 3 green tornadoes in front of me, spinning. Kind of like a color of the rainbow green, and there was 3 of them like a triangle right in front of me, just spinning.
Wow, I've never heard that before. I'm going to shout out to the audience right now. Has anybody ever had that kind of experience?
That's what I wanted to talk about, because I realized, well, that's probably something I've never heard anybody else talk about, so I'll mention that.
Yeah, let's see what happens. That's very interesting, Paul. Hey, man, have a great weekend.
Thanks, Jimmy. And hey, I hope you're okay, buddy.
I'm good, man.
I was worried when I was wondering what happened to the show, and I was hoping you're okay.
It's all good, man. Seriously, I feel great, and thank you. Thank you so much.
Praying for you, man, and shout out to the Spreaker chat room. I love those guys.
They're the best in there. Have a good weekend, Paul.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. Okay. And tornadoes, little mini tornadoes, while you're sleeping. Has anybody ever experienced that? That is very, very interesting. And with that, let's see. Let's look at the clock. Yeah, I can do a couple of more really quick. And let's see. Let's go here first. Oh, man. Hey, the phones are acting funky. No, they're not. They're good. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, right on there, Jimmy. It's Brother Bob Noxious from the Great White North. How are you?
Hey, Bob. How are you, man? Everything good?
Oh, everything's just peachy up here, but I'm kind of tripping.
How north are you?
I am Edmonton, Alberta.
Well, yeah, that's north. That's north.
Yeah, that's where you had the good steak, man.
Yeah, that's north. That's north. So what's going on up there?
Yeah. Well, it's not snowing.
No, it is in Denver, though, apparently.
Is it? Yeah, it was snowing about a week ago, but not so much now.
So what's going on, man?
Well, the guy who is doing does the night vision goggles, did you interview him about the same time last year?
Maybe. Probably.
Because I swear to God, I heard that interview before, and I was listening to Coast the other day, and it's like it's the same interview and the same people. And I remember listening to some guy called your show a while ago saying the same thing. Remember, he called up and said, "Didn't you just do this show?" And
oh, yeah, that was last month. I remember that too as well. I don't know.
And it was just so trippy, man, because it was like, man, that can't be.
Man.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we had Alec on last. You know what? I don't know. I've had him on the show before, but I don't know if we did it last year, maybe 6 months ago.
How old are your goggles? Like your colored goggles? How old are those? Are they like brand new?
Yeah,
or
they're brand
like
new.
A year old?
No, brand new. We just introduced him.
No way! Like this month?
Yes, like this month.
Get out! No, absolutely not. Because.
What do you mean, absolutely not? We just
absolutely not, because I swear to as Barry is my witness there, but by the grace of Barry go I.
Right.
Absolutely. Last year, oh my goodness.
Yeah, man, you're tripping. And hey, you know what though, Bob? Tripping is good. Tripping is fun. See, the thing is, and there's people out there that are listening going, is Jimmy talking about, acid? What's he talking?
No, no.
See, this is what is so amazing. I love deja vus when they happen. And I know what you're thinking, and I get that. I don't know if you're thinking deja vu, but the point is you're thinking you've heard
totally.
this before.
Like it is, and that means you're on the right path.
Yeah. There you go.
That's every time. That's all I've ever been taught.
I love it when it happens, Bob. But I can assure you that we introduced the goggles to the world about, I have to ask Rita, 2 months ago, I think. 2 months ago. Yeah. Yeah.
Because a friend of mine has really RP, retinitis pigmentosa.
Right.
And he can't see at night. And I was thinking, Jimmy's got these really good goggles. And we went camping last year.
Yeah, you've got to get some. You got to point your friend over to, and think about this. If he can't see at night, and he gets these night vision goggles that are cobalt blue, not green, not black and white, but color blue sky that you're looking at with the stars. And the quality of the optics and what you're dealing with here, there is nothing better on the planet. Yeah, he would have the most amazing experience.
You, but that's not why I called.
Okay. Why'd you call?
We're about the same age.
We are? You're 29?
We are.
I thought you were older.
Actually, I'm on the, what is it? The 23rd anniversary of my 29th birthday. Something like that, yeah.
Okay. All right, so go ahead. We got 2 minutes.
War of the Worlds.
Yes.
Jeff Wayne, 1978. Phil Lynott, Justin Hayward, David Essex. You ever listen to that, man?
Yeah. Oh, man, you're taking me back.
Oh, I knew you did.
Oh, man.
I'll tell you, that's H.G. Wells, that's original disclosure, man.
It's a documentary. It's a documentary. It's a documentary, man, if you think about it.
Sure.
If you think about it.
And then Jeff Wayne took that thing and he put it on the stage.
Yeah. And who would, man, let me tell you something. And I'm not playing around.
Phil Lynott was like the preacher, man?
Yeah, Phil Lynott. Man, I miss that guy. Okay, listen, I'm being serious. Nobody had the vision of the future like David Essex. That guy, what he was doing in 1970 could have been hit songs today. Think about that. When everybody else is doing that, you don't think that David?
Hello?
What? Are you being serious? We lost him. Oh, that is just a drag. And I have got 2 minutes. Okay, I'm going to go. Man, oh, okay. Calls are dropping. I am going to. Let's pick up the most recent one. See, they time out after 30 minutes, everybody, just so you know. That's partly my fault. Hi, you're live on Faded Black. Who's calling?
Hey, what's happening, Jimmy? It's Ryan from Pittsburgh.
Hey, Ryan from Pittsburgh. How are you?
Good, brother. Had a UFO story wanted to share with you.
Okay, what happened?
All right, so this happened about 3 years ago, and as I am now, it's pretty much into this field pretty deep. So I had a high-powered flashlight. I was messing around for a couple nights in a row, pointing at the sky, I don't know why, just trying to pick up something, So I also had a night vision monocular, and I would use them both. And so the second night, I saw a couple lights come by, and then the third night, I saw one come in and stop. When I looked at it with the binocular, it disappeared.
Whoa.
So, yeah, it scared me. So I was like, oh. So I went inside. But so the next thing I remember after laying on a couch, I just remember waking up instantly, not feeling sleepy or anything. All of a sudden, I look at my door, and I'm in my basement. The doors have blinds inside of them, so you could, hit that lever and the blinds go up inside the window.
Right.
So outside is an orange light, and it's sitting in the upper corner, and it's not blinking. It's going in and out, and it's not shining a light in. It was contained within itself. You know what I mean? Like you hear in other UFO stories, like, orbs, the lights weren't shining. It was like a ball of light within it. So the second thing I noticed was my feet were totally pointed straight up, and my hands were in my hoodie. And people who know me, they know I got real short, stubby legs, so it's kind of hard for me to put my legs together and keep them straight up.
Right.
And so I thought at that point, I was like, I got to see what this is. So I made the decision to get up and run to the door. And right as I thought that, the light dimmed out, but I got to the door, pulled it open, looked up. I saw nothing, but the branch was going up and down, and there was no wind that night. And so for the next year, I tried to debunk this. I thought it was a street light, or maybe it was someone's car light, but I lived right. There's no lights there. You could get no lights behind there. No,
it never happened again. Right. It didn't happen from. Right. I get it. So has it happened since?
No, but we have recently seen. I mean, me and my son saw two orbs The one, and this was in the daytime, 2 orbs side by side. They both turned with each other, and right as I went to go pull my phone out, they disappeared. Of course.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
but
man.
the only other thing I can connect with this would be, I was driving one day for deliveries for FedEx Express, and all of a sudden an image just popped in my head of an orange light underneath a craft. But that's the only thing I can connect with that. But I mean, I don't know what else to say. I'm guessing it was an orb or a UFO. You know what I mean? It's something that's never happened since, and I could never duplicate what it was.
Well, you know,
Because
Ryan, I'm going to a quick comment, and then I've got a break for commercial here. But as we are moving into like this new phase of what this may be, the phenomenon, more and more, myself included, more and more of us are seeing things that appear to be energy balls of light that are entering from the atmosphere, or maybe from space, of course, but maybe something interdimensional, something from a parallel world that is next to us. But it is something that everybody is seeing, and I am seeing it constantly. So are they connected? It could be just the latest visitations of our ET brothers, another civilization out there, and that's the car that they drive, But
exactly.
Hey, Ryan, enjoy your weekend.
Hey, you too, brother. Have a good one.
You too, man. Thank you so much. This is Fade to Black. Thank you, Ryan, from Pittsburgh. I am your host, Jimmy Church. It's Thursday night. It is Fader night. More of your phone calls are next. You stay right there. You have just listened to a full hour free preview of Fade to Black. To get the full show, all archives, just go to our podcast section at jimmychurchradio.com. You can also sign up to be a Fadernaut in our membership area, where we have downloadable MP3s. Go to jimmychurchradio.com. Go Beckley Teppy.